Ahoy and happy Friday. I'm Ashley, your creative captain at Logodentity. Welcome to Brand Compass Live, where I help small business owners build brand systems they can rely on so growth feels easier and decisions take less energy. Hi, Michelle. Thanks so much for joining in. If you are here live, feel free to hop in the chat and join the conversation. And if you're watching the replay, feel free to leave your questions in the comments, and I will either reply to them or talk about them on the next live stream. So for today, we are going to be talking about the foundations of your brand story. And then I'll talk a little bit about how my journey helped make decisions easier for my business and a little bit of what you can do to help clarify your journey before we hop into the Q&A. Let me pull up my slides. Okay. So if you've been struggling to make decisions in your business, it's time to reflect on your journey so far and set up the foundations for your brand story. When you think about a story, it usually has the past, the present, and the future, but we're also going to put in your position. So when you look at the past of your business, you think about why you started and why that still matters. And when you think about right now, you're going to pinpoint your struggles and goals. And when it comes to your position, that's more like your boundaries. You're deciding what you're going to refuse to compromise on. And then the future is where you're going next, your goals. So let's dive in. First, why you started and what still matters. Reflecting on the past, you want to know why you started your business. You can ask why as many times as you need to until you really get into the heart of it. Yes, you started your business because you needed money, but you also started your business because it's what you're passionate about. You started your business because it supports your family and the dream lifestyle you want to have. There's lots of reasons why that you can jot down when you're thinking about why you started your business. You also should think about what motivated you then versus now, because sometimes that changes over time. And also think about the decisions you've made in the past, and not just the good ones. Sometimes you made an investment on something that you regret, or sometimes you worked with someone that just wasn't a good fit. And you can learn from those past decisions so that you make better ones in the future. So think about the really good decisions that helped your business and the ones that you can learn from to make better ones in the future. If your past story is outdated, every decision after it costs more energy. So reflecting on the past and really pinpointing everything on like a timeline for yourself can help you spend less energy on your decisions. Now, when we get to the present, you're going to pinpoint your struggles and goals. Define what's challenging right now, the most urgent things that you're struggling with. Notice where you're hesitating. Last live, we talked about hesitation, where that shows up in our business, and how that stems from misalignment. So if you want a little bit of a deeper idea on that, you can go watch that video. And also, you want to clarify your goals that you want to reach right now, like this quarter, this month, this week, whatever feels best for you. But you need to figure out in the present what your current goal is. And then you also need to identify those patterns that are holding you back, because you don't want to end up procrastinating. Busy work often shows up when the clarity is missing from your present foundation and your brand story. Now, you need to decide what you're going to refuse to compromise on. This anchors your position. When you identify the values you won't bend on, you clarify what you stand against. This can be like industry pet peeves, or even something just in the world that is really important to you. You need to figure out what you stand for or against, and you need to protect what matters most to you as your business grows. When you have clear boundaries, you can eliminate many of those difficult decisions that seemed hard at first, but once you have these kind of values really anchored, then they're not as hard as you thought. And then where you're headed next, you got to chart your future, decide what you want to prioritize, consider how your business supports your lifestyle, and clarify what success looks like for you. Everyone has a different idea of what they want for their future. And when you've already charted your journey of where you were, where you are, then you can really clarify where you want to go next. You can think next quarter, this year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, but you want to have something to look forward to help guide your decisions going forward. So now that we've talked about those foundations for your brand story, let me know where you are in your business. If you have any questions of, your journey so far, some ideas to help you clarify things, and we can talk about that a little bit in the chat during the Q&A. Sorry, let me pull up the right thing here. Okay. So, technical difficulties. There we go. All right. When I was struggling with decisions in my business and I figured out the things that were holding me back, I was able to get things realigned and figure out where I wanted to go. I looked back at my journey of things that were good decisions, things that I really learned from a lot, and thought about what I want to achieve. And this past year really has been quite transformational for my business. One of the things that I had struggled in the past was having multiple brand packages. I had so many different options. There were like 3 different packages with 3 sub packages for each one. It was just confusing for myself and my clients. So now I have one signature service, and that has made things so much easier. I do still customize it for every client, but having that solid structure just makes everything so much easier. I don't have to second guess what is being delivered, what I'm offering, what my prices are, etc. And I also had multiple payment schedules. I think I had like 6 different types of payment plans, and I was just like, that's not really a good fit. So now I have one standard plan. And then when a client reaches out to me and needs something more flexible, that's easy to do. But now I don't have to manually select those things every single project. So that has cut down on the energy I have to use to set up a project in my Dubsado, to apply a workflow, etc. Just having the one standard payment plan. And another thing I simplified was my content. I knew that I really wanted to start doing video content. And one of the things that I hesitated on was the editing. And when I saw some other business owners who were using live streams to just make their video content, I was like, I can do that. So I'm going to do that. And now it feels so much easier. I don't feel stressed or second guess myself when it comes to the decisions of making content, because I have one format on one platform with one main call to action, which is to book a brand compass call with me. And then the client journey begins. So these are the things that have really made decisions easier in my business. And that happened because I was able to reflect back on my business journey and decide where I'm going to go from here. Now, when you think about your business, logging your own journey, think about the one reason you started your business that's still important to you. Think about one thing that feels challenging right now. one boundary you will not bend on, and one direction you're moving toward next. When you think about these things, then you'll be able to make decisions easier. You can ask yourself questions every time you're about to do a task. You can be like, is this task going to help me reach my goal? If not, maybe I should prioritize something else. That way you're not procrastinating. So I hope that this has helped you think about your journey in your business and think about questions that you can ask yourself so you can really kind of pinpoint your journey, map it all out, and make plans for your future. Let me pull up the chat and see if we have any questions. I think I closed the wrong tab. All right. There we go. All right. So it looks like we don't have any questions for now. If you do have any questions while watching the replay, feel free to leave them in the comments, and then during the next live stream, I can answer them for you during the Q&A. I might even make a video or a video series about it if it seems like a question that a lot of you might have. Thanks so much for joining me for Brand Compass Live. I'll see you next time.